Welcome to the Quickstart webinar. Coach Noah Harris here. Are you a real estate investor and you got a property under contract? Did you get an offer accepted? Did you sell a house recently? What's going on? Did you make an offer and they told you no? That's okay too. Because when you hear the no, you're one step closer to yes, right? Maybe if you're on the call right now, maybe you're a lender. Anybody close a new loan, get an interest check in the mail or hit their bank account today? Right? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. What are we celebrating? Let's go. All right, cool. So we've got folks from Georgia. What's up, Nikki? How you doing? Timothy out of Florida. Marco from New York. I love it. East Coast. Is the East Coast the best coast? Jacqueline says, hold the phone. Bay Area in the house. I like it. Got someone coming in from North Carolina. Timothy is here to learn about the game. You know, it's interesting that you say that, Timothy. Learn about the game. So in my living room right now, it's actually a half day at the school. So I have boys. I've got kids here, 9, 10, and I've got a 21-year-old as well. And my 10-year-old, he's in the living room right now playing Monopoly with my wife. You know, the game of Monopoly. Isn't that crazy? Like real estate is a game, kind of, right? Like in real life, money is a game. I feel like the people who succeed in real estate understand the rules of the game. There's a lot of great rules that are set up for us as real estate investors. And if we understand the rules, you're going to win the game. And that's kind of what we're doing here today, right? Every single Thursday at the top of the hour here, we are practicing private money lending best practices. We're practicing private money lending, some of the foundational ideas and principles, and we're just educating. We're learning the rules of the game, and that's awesome, right? That's awesome that we get to do this. So, hey, if you're on the call right now and you're brand new to Private Money Club or the Quick Start, just say hi in the chat box. Let us know. Say hi, say hello, say where you're from. Stephanie from Oklahoma, what's up? Fidel from Virginia, I love it. Nikki here, looking at a property and I have no knowledge on how to get started. Well, hey, this is great. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here, Nikki. Is there anyone like Nikki on the call right now? Maybe you have a deal and you need funding, but you know you're ready to go. Is there anyone that has a deal? I call that hot and ready. I call that anybody got a deal that's hot and ready, got a property under contract, and you're actually on the call right now because you're looking for private money to fund the deal. I love it. I love it. All right, cool. Yeah, lots of people. All right, let me know in the chat if you've got a deal and you need funding, share that. I'm going to share with you today if I were you, if I was someone on this call right now and I had a property, or maybe you don't have one yet. Maybe you're thinking about scaling your business and growing or just getting it started in real estate and you love the idea of working with people instead of banks or hard money lenders to fund your real estate deals. So I'll tell you what, this is a great place to do that. I'm going to share with you what I would do if I was in those shoes, right? Because this is what I do every day. Jacqueline says, "Yes, I need funding and a mentor, right? Education, right? Cool. Well, you're in the right place." So with me on this call is my co-pilot, and his name is Joseph Nagasa. So you might see in the chat box here, Joseph is going to be dropping his information. And you know, if you have any questions about things that I'm teaching on over the next 60 minutes, or you have a private money lending question, feel free to ask it in the Q&A section. If you're watching this webinar and maybe you have a question about logistics, like Private Money Club sounds awesome. Like how do I get an account? Like how do I log in? Things like this. Joseph Nagasa is the person that you're gonna want to connect with. If you're watching the replay of this webinar, then there's going to be links all over the place where you can click on to get help. One of the things that I recommend every single person that's watching this webinar do, if you haven't yet, is to schedule what's called a blueprint call with our PMC success team. So someone like Joseph can help you say, hey, look, this is what I would do if I were you. If this is your experience, if you're brand new, here's what I would start with, so on and so forth. The PMC team is fantastic. They're there to help you with anything that you need to get you guys rocking and rolling. All right. So, yep, Joseph, contact me directly after we're done here, right? Yep. All right, cool. Peggy with the thumbs up. Awesome. Good to see you guys connecting. So let's kick this off. So if you've ever seen me teach before on stage, on a webinar, even when I'm talking to some of my lenders one on one of the things that I just love to talk about is the risk. And I really need, I'm gonna get into some things here. We're gonna learn a lot here today. One of the things that PMC has asked me to cover here today is just some checklists, right? If I had a deal that needed funding, what would I want to put together that would make it attractive for a lender, a private lender, to say, yes, I'm interested and have them contact me? If I was a lender and I had funds that I wanted to put to work, what are some of the things that I need to review? What are some of the things that I should have in place, right? Before funding that deal, right? To try to protect myself, so on and so forth. So we're going to cover this checklist here today in great detail. Usually in the last 30 minutes or so of the webinar, we provide a ton of education, and I share as many Noah nuggets. I had someone call me. Someone said Noah. Thank you. It's not a golden nugget. It's a Noah nugget. I'll share as many Noah nuggets as I can for you guys in the time that we have. And then the first half, if you got a deal right now, or you're looking for funding, or you've got funds and you want to find good real estate investors to potentially work with, I'll share with you what I would do to get started. All right. Big thing here though is risk. Like, I love talking about the risks. Hey, look, if you want to get great at borrowing money, it's important that you talk about the risks, you understand your risks. If I was lending funding, I would ask my borrowers, hey, where do you see things maybe going wrong? Like, what are some of the things that you're keeping an eye out for? Like, hey, I know you think you're going to sell this house for this much, but like, what happens if, it takes 90 days longer to sell the property than you think? What happens if you think you think you're going to sell it for 300, but you're only able to get 280? Like, there's things that can go wrong in real estate. So as borrowers, we're preparing, right? We have the education, we have the knowledge. Like, when we're making our offers, we have these safety nets in place. Get great at explaining what those are to help instill confidence in your lenders. And lenders, it's important that you're talking about the risks involved, that you might have concerns about when it comes to lending money, and see how the borrowers answer it, right? You can learn a lot about a person by how they plan their projects, right? And the understanding. Look, this is a risky business. I had someone recently, I think it was Mark. Mark was like, why does it always say, what were the words that you use? Why does it always say results not typical, right? Like, before hopping on the webinar, you actually probably clicked the box that said results not typical, blah, 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 right? Why does it always say results not typical? Well, they're not. Real estate itself is not a typical business. All of the real estate deals that I've been involved in, none of them have ever been the same. They all have their own problems. They all have their own different things that we're learning along the way. Like, no real estate, that's what makes real estate real estate. Real estate is unique. There's no piece of real estate out there that's identical to another, right? And that goes for the deals. So understanding that this up front, like talking about the risks, can really help a person put themselves in a good position to succeed. Is there anyone on the call right now that's brand new? Is there anyone that, like, to real estate, brand new to real estate? I'm gonna give you some real. All right, a lot of hands are raising. Rita said yes. All right, Rita. So if I was brand new to real estate investing, don't be scared. Don't be shy. Don't not get in the game because you're new. But what I would do if I was Gloria, Rita, Lisa, Shannon, and other people that I see here participating, Michael, the very first thing that I would do is surround myself with licensed business professionals that can help me in my real estate business. So when you think of fix and flip, when you think of buying rental properties, who are the professionals that are involved in that transaction from A to Z? Probably a real estate attorney, right? To do your paperwork and do your title company, to do your closings, title insurance. Maybe a real estate agent helping you find properties, or helping you market or sell, or helping you get data about your market so you can figure out what houses are worth. You probably are going to hire a contractor that's going to be doing the work and things like this, right? And so you're surrounding yourself with licensed business professionals, okay? And that's important. I'm speaking and I teach this class from the perspective of a real estate investor. As a real estate investor, I have real estate agents that are marketing and selling my houses. I have contractors right now that are at my projects. I have real estate attorneys that are drafting my paperwork and conducting my closings. I'm not doing all of that stuff on my own. So if you are brand new, just like this slide says, make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the best. Does that make sense, guys? Is that good advice for someone that's starting out and you're new, right? So Michael, I see in the chat box here, Michael said, I have a mentor, but I still struggle with talking to lenders. Michael, I tell you what, man, one of the biggest things, sometimes if you're brand new to this, there's this like you get this voice in your head where you might be like, am I really credible enough? Like I'm brand new, like who's gonna take me seriously? Michael, if you took the time to set yourself up and you knew who your contractor was, you knew who your real estate agent was, and they weren't just like anyone, they were the best, right? Really good, years of experience. Then what you can do, Michael, is you're talking to your lenders. You can say, hey, you know what? I might be brand new to this business. My real estate attorney, she's been doing this 20 years. My contractor, family owned business. They've been doing this 30 years. My real estate agent, they're one of the top 1% real estate agents in the neighborhoods where we're going to be flipping houses. So, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, even though I'm brand new, my team isn't, right? My experience has always been, for the last 15 years, I was a firefighter or I was, a dentist or whatever your skill, whatever you do currently, those same skill sets transition right over into real estate. But you got to surround yourself with a great team. The other thing that I'll tell you, Michael, and I'm so glad you brought this up. And you're being very honest and vulnerable here. Like, hey, I need help. It's okay. It's okay to ask for help. What's cool about the Private Money Club, Michael, is that the people in Private Money Club understand what private money lending is, right? There's people in Private Money Club who want to fund deals. So even if you're brand new, guys, there's nothing wrong with lending to someone who's new. But we gotta know as lenders who's the team, what's the project look like, and can this person that I'm considering lending money to get the project to the finish line, right? Easy breezy. Easy breezy. These are things that we're working on all the time. I'm glad you appreciate that advice. That's awesome. Someone said here, how much capital do I need in savings to get a loan? Well, we can talk about that, Stephanie. We can talk about that. What's cool about private lenders is that private lenders are people, right? So they set their own terms. So if Stephanie went to a hard money lending company, the hard money lending company might be like, hey, here's our very specific criteria. I need to see X amount in reserves and in savings and things like this. Private lenders, they might be a little they have more flexibility. So we'll talk about that. Lots of times I teach through case studies within my business. So if you ever see a company that says Revive Homes LLC, that's my wife and I's house flipping company that's been around since 2013. I'm out of Columbia, South Carolina. I don't invest. I like to keep it. I like to keep it local. I like getting into my car and driving to our projects. So while we do invest in places like Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, most of our deals are 30 minutes from our house. My goal in my business and with my lenders is the same goal that I have for every single person on this call, and that's to help you create a 100% track record within your business, right? And what does that mean? Well, you're going to do what you say you're going to do, right? And if I can help the borrowers create that 100% track record by, you know, getting into good projects and being smart about how they're doing things and presenting things. If I can help the lenders by empowering everyone here with good questions to ask before just wiring funds or writing a check, to help you underwrite your deals and help you get that 100% track record. Oh man, that's the most rewarding thing out there. I just love this stuff. I love this stuff. I love coaching. Not just real estate. So it's in my DNA, and I like coaching. My kids play hockey. My son plays travel hockey. So as the coach of that team, just last night we had a practice at hockey rink, and we were working on fundamentals, passing and shooting and skating. When we're in the business realm, like here today, we're working on the fundamentals, right? Elevator pitch, checklist, what we need to know. It's the same thing, right? We're just getting our reps in every single Thursday. We do this every single week routinely, and we create these good habits, right? So here we go. Private money lending is relationship based, okay? Relationship based. Now, what does that mean? Well, let me ask you a question. Okay, let me ask you a question. And you can type it in the chat box or just say it out loud to yourself or You know, what do you think of when you hear the term private lender? What do you guys think of? Think of cash, peace of mind? Patrick, Patrick's always coming up with something new. I think Patrick is on this call every single week and he's always coming up with something new. I love it. I look forward to it every week. That could be. I would agree with you, peace of mind. Isn't it nice knowing where the funds are coming from while you're out shopping for houses? I would say that's peace of mind. Is it peace of mind to not worry about missing out on opportunities? Yeah, I think you're right, Patrick. I think you're right. You guys say not a bank, no banks, funding people with lots of money, an actual person. Peggy, ding, 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 ding. I love it. Great confidence, right? Someone who does not want to use a bank. Yeah, that'd be a borrower, maybe, right? Or I guess Diane, what you're saying is someone who does not want to use a bank. Maybe it's a person that doesn't want to keep their money in the bank because they're only earning 3% on their money or whatever, right? And they're looking for better options, right? Joseph said a person or an individual. Yeah, and that's really it. So, in the context of Private Money Club, and I'll show you, I'm going to pull it up. I'll show you inside of Private Money Club and do a little demo, and we'll see what's popping inside the club. Um, but when we talk about private lenders, what we're talking about are people. Okay, so an individual, anyone and everyone who might want to make a nice rate of return and have their money secured by real estate. And I feel like that should be everybody, right? I don't like to make those types of statements where it's like, hey, everybody should do it. But in my mind, if you're a good real estate investor and you have good deals and you believe in yourself, your projects, and you have a good team, gosh, we should have that confidence, right? That hey, people should be lined up around the block to work with us, right? And it's a person. Who do we when we meet people, and they're asking about real estate investing and asking about our careers and things that we got going on. In my mind, gosh, I'm thinking I could help this person. I could help this person. If this person wanted to make a better rate of return on their money than what they might be getting having it sit in the savings account, I think I could help this person, right? It's all about people, right? It's all about people. And it's and the relationships are so important, right? So let me ask you a question right now. How many of you know someone that you know would make a great private money lender for your deal? You just don't they don't know it yet. How many of you know someone who'd make a great private money lender, but they don't know it yet? Like they just don't know that this is even an option, right? Putting their money to work, double digit rate of return, having it secured by real estate, right? Tanya says yes, right? A couple of you are coming in and saying, yeah, I know someone. So what we got to get really good at is finding or is communicating better with what's out there. And we just got to find our people, right? You got to find your people. So what do I mean by people, right? This is a people business and this is good. This is good foundational groundwork that we're laying here. My wife always says this. She says, you just got to find your people. If you have a goal this year to flip, let's just say your goal is to do 4 real estate projects. That's it, just 4. And let's just say in your market, maybe distressed properties they're selling for like 200,000 and the renovation costs are 100,000. So that's 300,000 per project. And your goal is to do 4. That would mean that person's private money lending goal is 1.2 million, right? If they can build relationships with people and have that lined up, game over, right? It only takes a handful of people to help you hit your private money lending goals, right? So find your people. They're out there. Now, the problem that a lot of people outside of Private Money Club face is lots of times people don't know that this is an option. So look, if I look out my front window here in my office and if I just went door to door and I knocked on my neighbor's door and I said, hey, how would you like to make a nice double digit rate of return and have it secured by real estate that's worth much more? I'd probably get the door slammed in my face, right? Even though the opportunity is great. They don't understand it. They don't know what's going on, right? I'm fishing in the wrong fishing hole, wrong fishing pond. There's no fish in that pond, right? But with Private Money Club, if everybody understands private money and I have a good deal and I have a good track record, I got my team, I throw the line in the water, boom, there's going to be hits, right? People are going to want to learn more about it, right? So it's all about where you're tossing your line, right? And are you talking to the right people? And I'm gonna share with you what Private Money Club is, what I would do. I'll open it up. I'm gonna show you guys, and then we're gonna get into some education that you're gonna want to learn as well here. But find your people. Private Money Club is a great place to do that, right? So these two lines right here have indirectly helped me make a lot of money in the real estate business, and our ability to explain to others, right? Just like a couple of you said earlier, I've got folks that I think would make great lenders, but I don't even know how to explain this stuff. These are some great little one-liners that I really feel like capture the essence of private money lending. Where else can a real estate investor borrow all the money that they need to fund a real estate deal without having to go to a bank? That sounds good. Where else can a person put money to work at a great interest rate and have that money secured by an asset that's worth much more? Right? Where else? I mean, if you want to borrow funds, I would get great at that second line right there. Hey, where else can a person put money to work at a great interest rate and have it secured by an asset that's worth much more? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Michael said, I'm interested in a 730 split, maybe 80/20. Michael, what if I told you didn't have to split your profits? What if I told you didn't have to? Right? I'll tell you what, man. If you can build some relationships with people that would be ecstatic to making nice interest on their money, yeah, we don't have to go that route. Here's what I would do. I'm gonna share with you 5 simple steps. If I had a deal, I wanted to meet people, this is what I would do. If I had funds and I wanted to meet real estate investors, this is what I would do. Okay. Now, I call this the PER method, right? If you know anything about Chris Naugle, the founder of Private Money Club, he's got a cat. His cat is named Cash. Coolest cat there is, Cash. So this is the PER method that we've kind of coined, right? So number one, profile. I'm going to share with you how to create a profile on Private Money Club. Every single person on this call should leave today with a profile on Private Money Club if you don't have one already. It's free. So it's free to set up a profile. There are different types of memberships that a person can get, but to get the ball rolling, profile, go set it up for free. You can post a deal, you can network, right? Why not? Get in there. Number two, if you have a project, I would post it, share it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I would also make a post inside of Private Money Club introducing yourself, even if you didn't have a project, right? Say, hey, I'm a real estate investor. I'm out of Columbia, South Carolina. I focus on single family houses. Typical loan amounts look like this. Love to network with everybody, right? Get in there and get active. The third step is presenting, right? So I would want to get in front of as many people as possible, and Private Money Club is a platform where you can actually present your real estate opportunities to people who are actively looking to put money to work. We'll talk about that. And then number four is participation. Participate. Like anything in life, like the squeaky wheel kind of gets the grease, right? Have you guys ever heard that before? So what we really need to do is we need to participate. And within Private Money Club, they have classes, they have networking events. We'll talk about some of these things so that you can get in those rooms so that people can start to know who you are and learn about you, your business, and really start building those relationships. It's all about the relationships here, right? And for anyone that has a deal right now, if after this call you created your profile, you made a post, you presented on Private Money Club, you're participating in the courses, and what I would do is I would repeat 1 through 4 every single week. I'd revisit my profile. I'd do up to date stuff. I'd make a post every single week. I'd share my opportunities, making sure it's at the top, things like this. Get active. Get active. When it comes to the profile, this is kind of like what mine looks like. I'll show you live, but step one, create the profile. Every single person on PMC or should be in PMC if you're serious about real estate investing, to start meeting people who you can help create these win-win situations with. Well, I'll show you live. Number two, post the deal. This is a deal that I posted back on September 13th. This is a little duplex. We funded this deal, private money. It's in the demo phase right now. Electric's going in next week, and this thing's moving right along. Fully funded, using private money. I'm paying 10% interest annualized, no points, no fees. Right? That's me. That's me. Number three, present the deal every single Monday. If you are a premier member within Private Money Club, you can hop on what's called Money Club Monday, hosted by one of our co-founders, Stephen Nagy. and you can share your opportunity. You can share all the information about your deal, your contact information. And anytime that I've been on Money Club Monday presenting one of my deals, it seems to be between 75 to 125 people on there actively looking for options and places to put their funds, which is super cool. This is a deal I shared a while back, just kind of showing you guys an example here. I'm talking about my marketplace here in Columbia, South Carolina. Stephen Nagy was the host, right? This is a huge. I don't know any other community, real estate community, where anyone who's a member can hop on and just share what they got going on to the masses, right? To people who actually want to look for deals. This it's an awesome opportunity if you have something. Now, I'm going to share with you at the end of the call what to put together so that if you do have a deal and someone raises their hand and says, "Hey, I'm interested." Cool. You can send them over all of the info. I'll show you what I do. I'll show you exactly what I do. Number 4 is participate. We got to participate, right? How do you do that? There's classes, there's courses, there's networking events. Get in PMC. You're going to see these different types of opportunities. No, November 7th and 8th, Money Tank event down in Orlando, Florida. Money Tank events are fantastic. This is just a great example of how you can maybe get off Zoom and actually go and meet people and shake hands, build great relationships. Inside of Private Money Club, you'll see a section called courses. There's all different kinds of classes and courses a person can take. Some of them have investments involved in attending those classes. Some of them are for free, right? So you can take advantage of all the resources and really get in there and network with each other every single Thursday, not every single Thursday, every single month. The third Thursday of the month, we actually have a 2-hour mastermind where you can hop on with the founders of Private Money Club, Chris Naugle, Stephen Nagy, Shauna, fellow coaches, fellow members, and you can share deals. And it's just a beautiful mastermind. You got to get in there. This is a relationship-based business. Okay, relationship-based business. And let me just tell you something real quick. Let me if or let me just ask you, I'm gonna ask you a question. For my real estate investors, if you're a real estate investor, get ready. Get ready to type in your answer here. When it comes to finding a deal, how many offers do you have to make before you hear yes? How many offers do you need to make on property, on real estate, before you have an offer accepted? Type it in the chat box. I'm really, really curious. All right, so Patrick says 50 to 100. 50 to 100. All right, I like it. 100 to get one. All right, cool. My 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. That's pretty good. A 60% close rate. 10 units with potential. Okay. 50, Gloria says. All right, cool. So in my mind, I'm kind of in that 100 to 1 mindset, right? Like my offers are so low, I expect them to get rejected, right? And then, but if to help make sure I'm finding that diamond in the rough, the needle in the haystack, right? Someone said 50 to 1, Roger, great. Like I got to make sure I'm not offering too much. I'm looking for deals, right? So in my mind, it's a numbers game, right? It's a numbers game. Michael said a lot, right? So it's the same thing with private money lenders, meaning if you're struggling to find lenders for your deals, my question is, how many people have you talked to? How many relationships have you started to build? And whenever I ask someone that, it's minimal. It's like they haven't, or they had one conversation, things like this. So in order to find your people, right? Like my wife Christy says, you got to find your people. In order to find your people, how many conversations do you have to have? It's a numbers game. Lots of times the problem, yeah, no offers, no cash, Tim says, right? At the same time, I would say, hey, no conversations, no cash. If you're not reaching out to lenders and seeing how you can serve them as a good borrower and what they look for when they're lending and building those relationships, it's going to be hard. It's hard outside of PMC to do this. Inside PMC, it's very simple. I'll show you there's a members tab there. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Other classes and things that you can participate in as PMC members. One of the things that we offer, my wife teaches a mobile home investing course. It's called the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge. By the way, if you're interested in learning about any of these different classes or becoming a member, I am going to ask that Joseph drops in the chat box links. So if you're like, dang, I always knew there was money to be made in mobile homes. I just wasn't sure how to get started. shoot a text to Joseph right now or message him, and he can help you learn more about the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge when the next one starts. I think Christy's doing another class here in November, and you can learn about that course there. I teach a class for Private Money Club, and it's called the Accelerator Coaching Program. It's 4 weeks, twice a week. We meet for a couple hours each session, and I help folks collapse the time frame when it comes to learning as much as we possibly can about being a great borrower, being a great lender, how to present, how to package deals, basically how to leverage the platform. I take what I've learned over the years outside of Private Money Club, doing it the hard way, and package that up for you guys and teach this. And then in addition to that, how to leverage this beautiful platform called Private Money Club, where the people are right in front of you. And what I do. And from a lender's perspective, there's tons of value in here. What I see lots of times from folks, especially my lenders, is that my lenders are really smart. Like the people in Private Money Club who are lenders, they're really smart. They usually have a different type of career, right? Like real estate's not their thing. However, they've discovered Private Money Club through Chris Naugle, through Stephen Nagy. Maybe they have their life insurance IBC policies and they're acting as their own bank. So they're looking for ways to make interest with their money, right? Home equity line. Do you guys know what I'm talking about here? Am I being relatable? Is there anyone that's like, yeah, that's me? I'm okay. So a bunch of oh yeahs are coming in here, right? So like you have the fun. Maybe you got a home equity line of credit and you're trying to figure out, hey, how can I borrow from myself and lend it out and make the spread and things like this, right? I'm speaking you guys' love language, okay? But lots of times those folks, they might be super smart in their careers, but they don't necessarily know real estate. So if that's you and you're thinking about lending, my biggest bit of advice that I would give to someone who's thinking about becoming a private money lender is to get educated about it, right? You might be an expert in what it is that you do, but if you're going to be lending on real estate, make sure that you understand, hey, what questions should I be asking about the deals? What questions should I be asking about the borrower themselves? What paperwork do I need? Like these are very basic fundamentals that we need to have some awareness around. And these are some of the things that I teach in the accelerator coaching class. I'm also going to share with you one of the resources that I give my students in that class at the end of today's call. And the best thing to do right now, participate. One of the best things that you can do to participate in is a blueprint phone call with the PMC success team. So when you click on the link that's in the chat box or on the page below or up, down, and all around, you'll see a link there that says Blueprint. Click on the link. It'll take you to the calendar, and you can schedule time to talk with one of the PMC team members to help get set up, get enrolled in PMC, Private Money Club, one of the courses, right? Or really, if you already are a member, but maybe you just need help getting some momentum going, I recommend talking to the team and see what they've got on the calendar coming up that you can take advantage of, which is awesome, right? So there's the five. Let me show you live what I'm talking about. So I'm going to escape here. Let's see. I think I got PMC pulled up. Let me see here, right? Give me a big oh yeah. You guys see my screen? You can see the Private Money Club. Are you looking at what I'm looking at? All right, cool. Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, so this is Private Money Club. So I'm already logged in. It's kind of like a social media platform, but without all the crap. Like everything in here is just real estate related. There's no like politics or there's no memes or anything, right? This is all real estate. It's all borrowing, lending, real estate. And that's what I love about it because I can just stay focused on my business when I'm in here, right? So you see the vibe. It's super nice. Now, I told you step one was creating a profile, right? So I'm going to share with you kind of like what mine looks like and you guys can get some ideas. So with my profile on PMC, by the way, every single person on here should have some sort of profile. You can have a profile for free. What you're going to notice in the profile here, next to my name, you're going to see right here it says Premier Member. All right. So I am a Premier Member of Private Money Club. What that means is, if you want to be a premier member, it's like $1,500 or something like that, right? Less than a couple $100s a month to become a member of a premier member of PMC. Now that does have some advantages, right? So I can post multiple deals. I can message people easier than I would be able to with a free membership. I recommend every membership. I don't discriminate. If you're a PMC member, fantastic, free, premier, right? Just get in the club. I will tell you though that if I post a deal on Private Money Club and I get people messaging me saying, "Hey, I'm interested in funding this," I'm going to click on the profiles that have the little orange envelope here that shows that they're a premier member. That we call those badges. And it just shows me that I'm dealing with a real person. It shows me that I'm dealing with someone who invested in themselves. They're a real person, right? And it does stand out. I'm 100% transparent here. I would much rather work with someone who is a premier member than isn't. That's my personal preference, but I think you guys can understand why. Also, next to my name here is what's called it's a certified lender badge. So inside of Private Money Club, if you are a premier member, you can take two free classes to learn more about being a borrower and then to learn about being a lender. And when you complete those classes, you get those little badges next to your name. So I do believe that that stands out. Now, when you create your profile, make sure that you have a picture here. All right. This is kind of the essence of who I am, my family here, right? And so make sure you have a picture there. Like, look, the founder of Private Money Club, Chris Naugle, calls this site like the dating site for borrowers and lenders, right? Like, and if you think about it, like if you were on a dating site like Match.com or something like that, you'd probably have a picture. You probably wouldn't be talking to somebody who didn't have a picture. You'd want to make sure they were a real person. They weren't like catfishing you or something, right? So you got to have make sure that you have a photo there if you want to be, you want to have credibility. This section here, I have photos of my team, photos of past projects. I've got snapshots from my slide deck, talking about my market. So I use this space here as billboard space for my company, right? So people can see kind of like my work and some of the flips that we've done. And then down in the bio section here, I have, it's not just one sentence. It's not like I'm a lender, I'm a borrower, whatever, right? Like I'm giving examples of, my market, what types of deals I like to do, what it might look like to work with me, how I protect my lenders, the documents and things like this. So make sure this is filled out. If you click on anyone's profile, you can see deals that they've posted, right? Which is pretty cool. There's also reviews on here as well, which is awesome. So get the profiles up. Everyone can create a profile, right? Joseph will put the link in the chat box. Make sure you're doing it, privatemoneyclub.com. Now, if I had a deal like many of you do right now or will in the future, this is how you post it. By the way, if you're a lender, then we got to work on the profile too. Like just because you're a lender doesn't mean you shouldn't share information about yourself and your business goals and things like this, right? Lenders, credibility is just as important for the lenders as it is the borrowers. Whenever I post a deal on Private Money Club, I get people responding to me. The very first thing that I do is I click on their profile to see who they are. If it's not filled out, they don't have a picture, like I'm not even gonna give it I'm not even give it time of day, right? I'm not going to message back. So you got to fill this stuff out so we can see, hey, yeah, this is a person and they're serious about doing this. If you have a deal, like here's the deal section here, which is awesome. And I'll be very transparent with you guys. A lot of my students from the accelerator class, my lenders, they're like, hey, we need more borrowers. We need borrowers. So if you're a good borrower, I'm telling you what, this community is thirsty for deals. So I would come over here, I would click post a deal, and I'd come in, I'd type the address, and then I'd fill out this section down here. And then in less than 5 minutes, my project is posted live on Private Money Club right at the top. It literally takes that long, if not less than 5 minutes. Okay, I'll show you kind of what's possible here, and some give you some ideas and different things that you can do to help your deals stand out. I'm gonna click on this one here because I know this person, Mike Puglisi. He's actually a good friend of mine. Mike's a part of PMC. He's one of the other coaches, and he runs a very successful real estate investing business out of Macon, Georgia. So Mike's posting a deal here. He's got the photos that you can upload of the project. He's got the description here, and then PMC asks you for the financials, like, oops, what's the loan amount? What's the interest rate? Mike's willing to pay 12% interest on this deal, right? What's the repair cost? And you can come down here, click on the map, and it takes you right to it. So it's like, okay, this is a real place, right? All right, cool. Everything's kind of adding up. We're inspecting what we expect as a lender. Now over on this side here, you can click on this and you can download these different documents. I can download Mike's analysis. I can download his CMA, his comparable market analysis showing what the property value is worth. So he's got some documents there, which is really cool, that as lenders you can look at to help you make a decision. If I'm interested, I can come over here and click I'm interested. I can message Mike right now. Boom, done. It's that easy. I can click on Mike's profile. I can see what he's all about, right? I can do my due diligence. He's got a positive review, right? I'm liking it. I'm loving it, right? Which is pretty cool. So post in the deal. If you have a deal, post it here and get exposure. We're thirsty. We're thirsty for more really good real estate investors for our lenders. Our lenders can put their money to work. You'll see the blog section here, all different kinds of articles and learning resources as well. Maybe on the next week we'll talk about some of these awesome resources. Perfect loan proposal that's included, property spec sheet, max formula, offer template, things like this. Uh, Classes, participation, participation, participation. Look at this stuff. Every single week, wealth webinar series, ask me anything webinar, borrower certification course, lender certification course, right? Introduction to contract law and other classes that you can take, recordings you can watch, right? Events, upcoming events that we got going on. And then this is really cool here. So this is the member directory. And you can see here who's premier member, who isn't, who's a certified lender, certified borrower through PMC, who's taken those classes. You can come over here and you can search for I'm searching for lenders, I'm searching for borrowers, I'm searching for wholesale deals, so on and so forth, right? Has all of these different queries that you can do to find what you might be looking for and connect with folks. So even if you're coming into this blind and you're like, I don't know anyone, Noah, like I haven't taken any of the classes yet, I haven't done the monthly mastermind or anything, all good. Just start connecting with people through the member directory. I've actually done. I see one of my lenders just now here, which is kind of cool. It's so get out there, guys. Create the profile, participate. Right? I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Like all of these folks here are like raising their hand and saying, "Hey, I'm interested in borrowing. I'm interested in lending. Hey, look at that guy, handsome family. Who's this guy?" All right. So you guys get the idea here that this is what I would do. I would post, right? Create your profile, post, present on Money Club Mondays, participate in classes. This is an awesome community, right? If you have real estate goals this year to get into real estate, to buy, sell, things like this, rent properties, this is the spot to do it. If you have a goal to put your money to work and have it secured by real estate that's worth much more, this is a great place to meet people. All right, cool. So look, this is what I would kind of consider non-negotiables when I'm funding deals or I'm looking for funding. If I had money to lend, I would want to make sure that I got these things in place and reviewed them. If I had a deal before posting it, I would put the top section, if not the second section as well, into some sort of folder online, Google folder, Dropbox folder, or something like that, where the moment that someone messages me and says, I'm interested in your deal, I can immediately send this information out to them so that they can take a look. For my lenders, I would be asking for these things every single time. So what is it? Let's talk about this. We got 16 minutes to have some fun here and learn. So right out of the gate, the top section there on this checklist that I'm using is everything that I would put together to send to a lender on our initial contact. Okay. Now, on the flip side of this, and these are things that I teach in the accelerator class. On the flip side of this, if I was a lender, these are the things that I would want to see if I were to consider a deal. Okay. So this is really important. So if you're a lender, you got to learn, hey, how do I evaluate what a good deal looks like and what a good operator looks like? And on the flip side, as a borrower, if you're not doing your due diligence and putting all the information together that is what a lender needs to be able to say yes, how's the project going to go? Right? So let me give you an idea here. So every single house that we do, that we fix and flip or we're planning on keeping, number one, obviously pictures, right? What are we working with? Now, when I say pictures, I'm not just talking about pictures of the outside or whatever. Like I want to take pictures of the hot water heater, the HVAC unit. I want to take pictures under the sinks in the bathrooms, under the sinks in the kitchen. What's the plumbing looking like, right? Not just the pretty pictures. I want to get much as I possibly can to document what's going on in the property. I'm also doing video walkthroughs. So I'm going to do a video walkthrough of the house on the inside, a video walkthrough of the house on the outside, and then I'm also going to do a video walkthrough of the neighborhood. I'm going to walk out to the driveway, to the mailbox. I'm going to walk down to the left, see what the house looks like next door. Walk down to the right, see what the house looks like next door, right? I want to make sure there's nothing like crazy going on that's going to deter a buyer, right? So these are little things that over the years I've learned to have in place and do to make sure that we're buying good properties. And lenders, we should be asking for this stuff. I'm also going to provide what I call an executive summary. It's like or an exit strategy letter where I'm describing my plans for the property. And inside of that letter, that executive summary is going to be my real estate attorney's information or the title company where I'm doing the closing, right? Who's doing the paperwork, who's doing the title work, okay? Matthew's, oh, cool. Matthew says I'm posting a multifamily deal right now. That's awesome, Matthew. Sweet. Way to take action. Hey, it's not called the kick the can down the road webinar. It's called the Quick Start webinar, right, Matt? So you get out there, get started, get going. Let's get going. Quick Start. I love it. If the property is on the MLS, then I'm going to ask my real estate agent to print out a copy of the input sheet. So, all the data is there in regards to the property. I'm going to have my real estate agent provide me with a package of comparable sales. So they're going to do all the research for me. If my real estate agent says, "Noah, I think if you fix this up and make it beautiful, we can sell it for 300,000." I'm going to say, "Great. I need proof. So can you put together a comparable sales analysis of all the stuff that you're seeing that I can present to a lender to justify that?" And they're going to say, "Absolutely. It should take them 10 minutes to get that over to us." Okay. I'm also going to ask my real estate agent, or I can go on the county website and pull up the tax data. How much is the taxes? What's the map look like? What's the lot lines and things like that look like of the property? I'm going to include that in my package. I'm also going to put together what's called a repair estimate or a scope of work. So instead of, guys, and this is probably one of the biggest mistakes I see real estate investors make, and if a person's struggling to find good lenders and people willing to fund their deals, it's either A, it's not a good deal, or B, your presentation skills need help. And you need help, right? You need help. Maybe you got all the data, but maybe you need help like communicating how to present that to somebody, right? And these are things that we can help you with inside of PMC. If you talk with Joseph, he can get you enrolled in a class and things like that to help. But these are the things that we're working on. All right. One of the biggest things I see in private money club is lots of times people will say repair estimate 50 grand, but then they don't have any of the data showing where that number is coming from. If I was a lender, I would want to know exactly where every dollar is going into that renovation budget, right? So we have to be specific. We have to say, all right, here's our new doors, new roof, new windows, right? New carpet, new sink fixtures, new lighting fixtures. Everything that's going to go into that property, we're not just lumping it into one large sum. We want to, and this is a reflection on the real estate investor. So lenders, if you're thinking about lending to someone and they can't provide you with a detailed scope of work, how do you think that project is actually going to go? If a person can't plan properly right now, how do you think that project is going to go after you wire the funds? Probably awful. Okay? Like just being transparent here. That's foreshadowing what it's going to be like working with this person. So as borrowers, we want to make sure we're organized and this is really important. I'm also going to provide them with a copy of the contract. So if I'm buying a house, I'm going to or I'm refinancing or whatever, I'm going to show them, hey, yeah, we this is the contract, the ratified contract. They can see the sales price and all this stuff is matching up. Okay. I always recommend putting together a slide deck to help promote your opportunity. I call that the property presentation slides. And I would include this in when you send over everything, I would include this in what you're sending them. Hey, if you're going to present on Money Club Monday in front of the whole community, you already got the slides and the information about it. Put it in your package. Now, once someone says yes, or I'm interested in the deal, I want to learn a little bit more about you. Here's what I'm going to put together. I'm going to put together an experience worksheet. So I have, if I'm an experienced real estate investor, then I should have all the addresses, what I've paid for properties and things I've done in the past, my current rentals and things like that. I'm going to send that over so someone can see that I am who I say I am. If I'm a lender and I'm talking to someone on Private Money Club, I'm going to ask them, hey, tell me about your real estate business. And if they say, well, I've got 10 rental properties, we did five houses, five flips last year. Right now we have three projects going. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. That's great. I'm going to have them send over what's called an experience worksheet. I want to have them fill out their current rentals and the projects they're working on now and the five flips that they did last year. Why do you think I'm going to ask someone for the addresses of their past projects? Why do you think we would ask that? Diligence? Yeah. I want to make sure the person isn't full of crap. How about that? Right? I want to make sure that the person is who they say they are. And you can also make sure that a person isn't over leveraged, they aren't in over their head. Hey, if someone says, "Oh, we've got three projects that we're doing right now," okay, great. I want to see when they bought them, what fit, and how if they've owned them. If it's a fix and flip and they've owned it for 18 months, that's a problem. That person, why is this house not done? Why is this house not sold? Right? I'm trying to punch holes into their story here, right? I'm playing the devil's advocate. Now, someone asked a good question here. It says, I have no experience and I'm on my first deal. Do I leave it blank? How would I explain that? Yeah, man. Honesty is the best policy. If you are brand new to this business, I'm not telling private lenders not to work with brand new people. Brand new people can be great to work with because a brand new real estate investor is dialed in and focused on that one project, right? They're not trying to scale and be the next guru and try to do 100 houses at a time, right? They're dialed in on that one. And if someone's new, we might deem them a little riskier as a lender, right? Because maybe they're newer, experienced. And if we're looking at a borrower and we think they might be a little bit more risky because of their lack of experience, what could we do to the interest rate on the loan? Seems a little bit riskier, where does the interest rate go? Up. So you're making more money. You're making more money. I love it. I just want to make sure, Michael, it all goes back to the team. I don't care if you're new. Is your contractor new? Is your real estate agent new? Is your property manager new? Is your attorney new? Like, I don't care if you're new, but your team better not be, right? That's why it's really important. We started out this webinar figuring out who our team is going to be. And in your real estate investing business, we're going to take those same steps. We're going to figure out who our real estate team is as well, right? So that's really important. Copy of the driver's license. I mean, it's amazing how many people lend money, but they don't ask for a copy of the driver's license of the person's information, right? So this is a simple thing, right? Gosh, if we lent money to someone and they didn't pay back, I'm gonna know where they live, right? I'm gonna know where they live. And then your LLC documents. Lots of times these loans, you guys, we're not making loans, private lenders to people in regards to like in the person's name. It's going to be an entity of some sort, right? So that real estate investor that you've been talking to has an LLC, right? So I want to make sure that we're lending to entities, not to directly to the individual. That's a big no-no. If you want to learn more about that, I teach this and I talk about this all the time in the accelerator class. We're lending to entities like LLCs, right? So I want to make sure I see the LLC documents. And then inside of Private Money Club, we have something super cool. It's called a perfect loan proposal. And that's a template that you can fill out that talks about your company, who you are, even if you're just getting started, what's your background in, right? What's your goal? What are your goals? What does it look like to work with you? What's the information about your market? If you live, like I live in Columbia, South Carolina, so my investments are in Columbia. Why do I like Columbia, South Carolina? Well, University of South Carolina is here, right? Big SEC school. It's the state capital, right? Lots of government jobs. I like the medium home price. I like, there's lots of things that I like. So it's important that, to kind of talk about yourself, your business. So even if you're brand new, you can still use that perfect loan proposal to help you build credibility. And then last but not least, some of the most important things here, if we are moving forward, lenders, we want to make sure that we have a mortgage. The borrower is signing a mortgage. or deed of trust. That's going to be state specific. We want to make sure that the borrower is signing a promissory note that outlines the terms of the loan. I always would want to make sure that I'm providing my lenders with a personal guarantee as well. The lender, we want to have the lender listed on the insurance, just like a bank would want in case there's a fire or something like this, right? And title insurance. These are the steps that we're taking, right? So if a person doesn't get paid back, well, guess what? They have the asset, right? The more they can go after the asset, they can foreclose on the property, right? And I've seen a lot of private money loans, and you guys, lots of times when I see deals that don't go the right way, it's usually because these documents weren't involved. We need more than just a promissory note. Okay, what makes real estate great? It's the collateral, right? It's your ability to foreclose if you're not paid back. It's your money is secured. If when done right, a person's money is secured by an asset that's worth much more, right? But if you don't have those things, then you're not wearing that armor, right? Like so private money lending on real estate deals is sexy because of the collateral. If you don't have the mortgage or the deed of trust and you just have a promissory note, then it's a different route that a person's going to take to get to try to go after their funds if they're not paid back, right? So is this checklist helpful? Are you guys liking this? Is this good stuff? Right? How many of you learned something on the call here today? Did anybody learn anything new on the call here today? Yeah, increase your odds of looking for networking by enrolling in the PMC. That is fantastic advice. I learn a lot every week here. That's awesome. Michael, are you in PMC yet? Do you have a profile yet? If you're on here every week, I hope the answer to that is yes, right? I think you do. All right, cool. So if you're on Private Money Club, guys, go find me. Go, let's be friends. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back. Noah and Christy Harris. That's my wife and I share a profile here on Private Money Club. But make a move. All right, make a move. Start today. Yeah, get on there today. So here's the steps. So it's the quick start, right? It's a quick start. Now, quick start does not mean you're breaking out your checkbook and you're funding a real estate deal with someone you met in the chat box. Okay, that's not like pump the brakes. All right. It does not mean that you just post a deal without getting all your information in order and things like this, right? So like get started. Here's some things that you can do to start building the relationships, to help work on your education, right? That's the foundation to this. And then the deals, the relationships, they will follow afterwards, right? If a person's putting in the work. So number one, create your profile on Private Money Club. Joseph's got the links all over the page. Schedule a blueprint call with one of the success team members to see how you can get started with Private Money Club. If you are a premier member, go take those certification courses. There's a borrower class, a lender class. Get the badges next to your name. Get the education so people can recognize that you take this seriously, and it's going to help boost your credibility. If you haven't taken my accelerator class yet, I'd highly recommend it. The people that are in this class, they love it. There's great relationships to be made in there. It's usually kind of half and half, half borrowers, half lenders. So you also get to know people on a more intimate level that are in your class that you can potentially build relationships with, in addition to learning this business. My wife is teaching another mobile and manufactured home investing course coming up here in November, I believe. The team can help you out with that. And if you haven't been to a Money Tank event yet, um, this is kind of like a bi-week, or excuse me, semi-annual live event that Private Money Club hosts, where we can get off the Zoom calls and actually go and meet people face to face. They're great events. Every time, the last three that I've been able to go to, my wife and I have gone together. I'll be at the next one, hosting, teaching, emceeing a little bit, and getting to know one another, and hopefully building some relationships with some new lenders for our real estate investing business. But get off the couch, get in the car, get on the airplane, and get to the next Money Tank event. Next one that I'm going to be going to is in Orlando, which is awesome. That's coming up soon here. So if you're interested in tickets, the team can help you out with that. But make a move. Make a move. All right, guys. Every single week, we want to see progress. All right, progress, and that's what this Quick Start webinar is all about. I hope you enjoyed it. We do this call every single week. Hop on again. Let's stay sharp. Continue to practice fundamentals. Continue to practice being our best version of ourselves as a borrower, being the best version of ourselves as a lender, And if you feel like there's some gaps, there's some gaps here where you're having a hard time connecting some of these dots, it's okay to seek help, right? It's okay to get coached. You know, when it comes to coaching, it's interesting. I feel like sometimes, when we're kids, we have coaches, right? How many of you had a coach growing up? And maybe it was sports, maybe it was the violin, maybe it was the piano. How many of you had coaching growing up, right? You had several, right? Different tennis coach, right? What's interesting is as we get older, for some reason, I don't know if it's because like our parents say, "Hey, that's your coach," and like the parents get the coach, but for some reason, lots of times we see this when we get older, it's like we stop seeking out help. But what I've noticed is if you look at the people who are just crushing things in life, like whatever the case may be, like whether it's business, whether it's life, with my kids, I have kids, they have speech coaches, I have behavior coaches that come to my house for my youngest son. Like, don't stop ever seeking out help. And if you look at like the Chris Naugles and the people who are really crushing it, like the founders of this company, they are the first person to say, "Hey, you know what? I want to get better in this area. Who's really good at this? Who can I work with? Who can I hire to help me bridge that gap quicker?" Right? And so it's okay to seek out help. And that's why I love and respect so many people that are on this call right now because you're raising your hand and saying, "Yeah, I want to learn this." Right? And I just think that's awesome. So I just want to give you guys a little shout out there. So this has been an awesome class. Great job, everybody. I will see you next week and on the next Quick Start webinar, and I will see you inside of Private Money Club. All right, have a good one, everyone. All right, take care. All right, bye.